welcome to the next episode of Punksylvania Punkcast. I'm Bree, joined with Laura and Terry, as always. So, ladies, what's your week like? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Bad Cop just dropped their new album yesterday, so I am all over it. And I'm sure Laura's too.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's just been on repeat since Thursday night, since they kind of dropped it. I don't know if you guys saw that. They dropped it online. It was on YouTube streaming. So I checked out that article and I listened to it all night long, again yesterday, all the way to work, all the way home. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's so good. Good.
What's your favorite song on it?
Oh, so I really love Community. I cried because it just reminds me of you guys. It reminds me of, I guess, exactly what it's supposed to, of our community and just how powerful we are as a whole. And it hits in the feels. It's good. There's a lot on that album that's just really powerful. I mean, lyrically, musically, everything. It's really well put together. It's funny too because it's like they're one of my favorite bands. So you always get kind of nervous when they're putting out new music. You're like, well, how could they possibly top that last album? It was my favorite. Well, here they go. They've done it again. So I'm stoked.
I was surprised because I feel the same way. Anytime people drop one, I'm just like, ee. But this one, yeah, Perpetual Motion Machine, definitely.
It's such a ripper. Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, for me, that tends to not be an emotional person, but music seems to bring that out of me. I was surprised when I was driving and I had tears. I went like, oh my God, what?
Yeah, there's if you really listen to the words to a lot of that album, that whole record, you're just like, wow, oh my God. A lot of it resonates with you. It's just very relevant to today, and basically, it's pretty timeless, I think. So if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely get on it. It's streaming all over the place. You can buy it on Fat Wreck. They have really cool merch out on Stupid Rad. Get on the Bad Cop train.
Also, Chromax released their new album, first one in 20 years, which is called In Beginnings. So if you guys want to go check out Motion 2 Entertainment, it is online. You can get it right now.
And actually, speaking of Toots and the Maytals, I just saw right before we hopped on, are putting out their first album in 10 years, and I love Toots. It was like, it's special for me. It was like the first show that I took my kids to.
Oh, it was Ollie's first show too.
Really? It was so fun. Oh my God. They danced and we had a blast, and it was in a park. So it was just like no stress, like kids running around everywhere. It was perfect. So I don't know.
That'll be a good one.
I saved it to my own Facebook page so I could go check it out after we're done with all this. So I'm very excited for that.
Maybe some reviews. Now we have been actually putting out reviews. So if you guys haven't had to check them out, go to Punksylvania.com or check out camppunksylvania.com. You'll be able to find even our Facebook pages. You'll be able to see kind of everything that we're putting out. We're trying to really put out more stuff for you guys because, well, we're kind of sitting in quarantine still.
It's been 3 months. I haven't checked out the new Bad Cop yet because I've been listening to the Starving Wolves.
Oh my God.
Through Fire.
It's so good too.
Oh my God, so good. And Amy Gabba's album, oh my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to clean to today, I think. So like that's been all up blaring in my house.
It's so funny you say that. I think I told her that the last time we spoke with her. I was like, I opened my windows in the house and on goes Amy Gabba.
And the Song Revolution reminds me of you guys so much. Like, it's amazing. I love it. So yeah, I haven't written anything in 3 months. It kind of took me a minute to put that hat back on, but that's kind of my jam. I like writing.
Well, yeah, the quarantine kind of sucks you into a little bit of a hole. You know what I mean? It put all of us at a little bit of a block, mentally, physically, everything.
When you have to homeschool 4 kids, you don't have time to sit down and review an album.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, like we only canceled camp about not even a month ago, really. If we look at it, we're 20 days in from when we canceled it. We were technically still working on trying to get everything ready, and it kind of makes us look at what's going to happen next summer.
What I think too, it kind of pissed me off. Like, obviously I was heartbroken, but there was like some anger, like, God damn it, we worked so hard. And then I was just like, no, I'm not doing any of this. I'm just going to take a break and wallow in self-pity for a few days, Yeah,
you do. You kind of need that reset almost. You have to kind of suck it in and absorb it and realize, okay, this is what's happening, and now we can't just sit here idly. Right. We gotta, and here we are.
Yeah. Still doing our meetings, still making it work. Yeah, no, same thing. It was a very quiet 2-3 days after we announced cancellation. I don't think anyone really wanted to talk to me because they could just tell there was that dark cloud. I'm not one to like burn my emotions again. So it's just, I tend to be quiet. So anytime I'm just like in the corner brooding, then yeah, you probably know what's going on. It wasn't very good. But, you know, after the 2 days and doing this is kind of.
Yeah, this has definitely put a fire under my ass again. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like almost like we now, we have something to look forward to every week. We're putting out new material, so it's that drive, and it's a little bit different than before, but we're still here. We're still trying to get things done and to put content out to make you guys happy during all of this nonsense. So hopefully we can do
my words. So like watching myself has been like unnerving.
Oh, I can't do it.
Like,
I'm like, I watch it and I go,
oh my God, my ADHD, I'm like all over the place all the time. Like, sit still, Brie, just sit still.
Well, you look at this episode and the other episode, and I call it the drinking game. So if you want to go check back our first episode, have a big, tall glass. I'm trying to fit it in the frame here. Whatever it is you're drinking, and then drink every time I say You won't even make it past the first segment. You'll just be
and if it's me and Bree, you'll hear absolutely probably 70 times.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, we still have some work to do, but we're getting there. Now
speaking of, should we get into it?
I think so. You take it away, Bree.
All right. So this week we have Kryssie from Evil Engine, and it's a topic that again is very near and dear to my heart. I hate the term female fronted. I feel like it hurts the women in our industry. And so we're going to chat with her and get her perspective on it. So let's go do that.
I want to go to Camp Punksylvania. I want to go to Camp Punksylvania.
All right, so today's topic is female fronted and how much I actually hate that term. I met our next guest because I saw a hashtag that she actually used that said female fronted isn't a fucking genre. And I thought she would be amazing to come on and talk about that. So here is Kryssie from Evil Engine.
Hey, welcome.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Of course. So what created that hashtag? Because you put it on shirts and stuff, right?
We did. We have it on a shirt and on a sticker. The short version of it is I've been in bands my entire adult life, and I only became a singer because I was the only person that could play and sing at the same time in every band I was in. So I noticed that for years and years, it was always whatever band I was in, they were female fronted this and I was like, dude, I was in a metal band for 10 years. And we got booked with all kinds of like symphonic metal and shit. And people were really, really disappointed when I would come out not wearing a corset and not singing about swords. Like there's a very specific kind of image that conjures up for people. And it transcended when I started making punk rock. And it was like, okay, this has to stop. Like there's so much more to what I have going on than the plumbing I happen to have been born with. And saying female fronted doesn't really define the sound of the music at all. It just mentions like, yeah, she might have a higher voice, but I'm a tenor, y'all. So
I'm an alto myself, so I get it.
Yeah. I got into a kind of a battle on Facebook with a local venue because they brought a band to town that had some female members, and the only thing they promoted it as was female fronted. And I was like, if you aren't familiar with that band, you have no idea what that sound is like. Nope. And if you're only going because the chick is a lead singer, then that's a bigger fucking problem to deal with, I think.
It's a double-edged sword. It really is. I've met a lot of really cool people because I happen to be female, and they come see us play because they're like, oh, it's a chick, cool. But on the same token, there's so much other nonsense that comes with it that I would rather the female fronted thing was not a thing at all, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Right. It's almost like you want that respect that you should have anyway because you're just talented, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to prove yourself because you're a female,
Yeah, that's we actually toured with a band called Dollskin a couple of years ago, and everybody in the band is female. And we used to trade stories all the time of how people be like, you guys are really good for girls. And you're so good for a girl. And that drove all of us absolutely insane. And it was nice to be able to kind of have that camaraderie for a little bit and watch all these things happen to us on the road and be like, Us too. Sorry. It sucks. It's such a bizarre thing that has become a norm, and it has to stop.
It's funny that you mentioned this because there was actually a study, I think it was in Sweden, and it was of orchestra players. They had the orchestra play their instruments and had judges, and the females were significantly graded less than their male counterparts. So then they took the same judges and the same group of people and put them behind screens. And you couldn't see. And all the marks for the female groups just shot up, even surpassing some of their male counterparts. And, you know, we see it in our careers and our shit all the time, constantly. It's a huge part of, you know, why women aren't we equal. It's what we're fighting for, essentially.
It's so upsetting because on one hand, I love being recognized for being a bad bitch in punk rock. I appreciate that so much. And when, you know, young kids come to me and they're like, I saw your band, I wanted to be a singer because of you. That's amazing. And that's like, especially the young girls. But at the same time, there's that whole thing where I'm like, I want them to be able to go into this business not having to fight for any kind of equality. And I don't know if I'm ever going to see that in my lifetime.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, we say we shouldn't have to fight harder, but the fact of the matter is we have to fight harder.
Yep.
and really, I guess the question really comes to mind is what in the scene needs to change? Is it people's perspective? Do we just fucking slam behind people behind a curtain and have them start, get people to enjoy it, and then come out? It's, what the fuck do we do as females, let alone, fans?
It's a scary question, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, my own personal role has just been networking my ass off. Like, I just make sure that I talk to every single person that gets anywhere near us. And if there's any kind of preconceived anything about, be it my gender and the choice of music that I play. I mean, I'm in a political punk rock band. We make a lot of noise about a lot of things that most people don't even want to talk about, let alone perform. And I feel like a sense of responsibility in that I have to address pretty much whatever I can and use whatever menial as it is platform that I have to kind of let girls know that it's okay to be just as outspoken about this shit, because our opinions matter too. Also, I have a filthy sailor mouth. Is that going to be a problem? Or are you going to have to edit all this?
Absolutely not.
But have you met me?
We have been toning it in for the past God knows how long.
Yeah, we've been pretty well behaved I think we're still pretty new at this. Wait till like next season of this. Oh gosh. It's really, as I say, gosh, did you hear that?
That was precious. I liked that.
Oh gosh.
God.
So what do you see as a artist? You usually typically say they seem to be either disappointed or surprised to have a female band, because I'm assuring that when you see posters, if they had female fronted, you're like, cut that shit out, get it the fuck out of here.
The funny thing is the female fronted thing, it doesn't help nearly as much as people think it does. Promoters will put that on posters and on their social media and stuff because they think it's going to drag out all these thirsty dudes. But then there's me with a purple mohawk and I'm like, hi, I'm mad about police violence. And they're like, oh. Yeah. And
that was precious. Are you fucking kidding me?
Thank you. Acquired taste, though. Not everybody thinks it's precious. They come to expect a certain kind of thing. And I mean, really the only thing that can be done is just we have to be more outspoken on our parts, and we have to chat with the promoters and be like, look, man, my band plays a genre that no one has really, we call ourselves skate thrash because we don't make sense anywhere. We're a skate punk band that has a thrash metal guitar player, and we just sort of exist. And P.S., we're pissed off about social issues and politics. But saying female fronted, you don't get any of that from that. You're just like, okay, she has a vagina. And I'm trying to articulate this as grown up as possible. It's bullshit.
Grown up. It is bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. We've had shows where we've showed up to load in and the door guy won't let me in without paying because they think I'm somebody's girlfriend. I had a show in my old metal band. We played like a female fronted festival, all bands with female singers. The festival was called Dame Nation. Okay. Like estrogen for days. And same deal, dude at the venue wouldn't give me a wristband because he thought I was like a merch girl, or he thought I was with one of the dudes in my band. And I was like, you're standing in front of a poster with my face on it. Like, that's me right there. Why would I make that up? Like, who coasts on pretending to be me? You know, like but it's really just our responsibility, I think, to just keep getting mad and not backing down and just continuing to let everyone know that there's so much more than just, you know, the fact that I happened to wear pink when I was a baby.
Do you think that like
because like in the beginning, like we had a lot of criticism, like you guys don't know what you're doing, you're throwing this festival, and immediately we clap back to all of that shit. And we had people like, you should learn to like, you know, people are watching you, use your manners, you shouldn't get upset about that stuff. And I was like, fuck that, like this is our kid, like we are protecting this.
Manners are for pussies. Like,
right?
Nothing good ever comes from sitting back and letting shit happen to you. It just doesn't.
Punk does not exist because of manners, but because of having good manners.
No.
We're here because we're angry.
That's the thing. This whole genre is a platform for people to get out all their frustrations about shit that no one else wants to talk about. Absolutely. And for you to be expected to just be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just a girl, please teach me, you know, it's bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're all grown adults. I'm old enough to be somebody's mother. Okay. If I would be old enough to raise a child, I'm sure as fuck old enough to front a band. Like, I got this.
Right.
You guys are old enough to throw your own fucking festival without somebody holding your hand.
And we'll make mistakes, but those are our mistakes to make, and we'll learn and we'll grow, and it'll be even better the next year.
Mistakes are all part of the growth process, man.
Absolutely.
There's so much awful skeletons in my closet and stupid shit that I've done growing up that turned me into the person that I am right now. Not necessarily somebody that, you know, most people would be proud of being, but if I met 10-year-old me at a show, I'd be like, holy shit, she's so cool.
I think that's important. You know, that honestly, that you stayed true to yourself your entire life, and that's badass.
You know, I wanted to do a lot of things when I grew up. You know, I quit college to be a rock star. I was a pre-med major, and I had the opportunity to play more shows and go see more things, and I fucking ran, man. And sometimes I regret it. When quarantine happened and everything shut down, and I was like, am I ever going to play a show again? Like, what am I up against now? Like, I've devoted my life to this. But my dad is also a professional artist, and every time we talk, he's like, would 10-year-old you be pumped to meet you? And I'm like, dude, yeah. And that's enough for me.
Your dad seems awesome.
Yeah, that's an amazing
he's the shit, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah. And what do you do, like, now that you are in quarantine, that's kind of, how do you dedicate your time? Is it new stuff, or what's, you know?
You know, we hit quarantine right as we had just hired a new drummer. Our drummer that founded the band with us, that was with us for the first 4 years we were doing stuff, he decided to kind of step down because his wife just had their first kid, and he wanted to go do dad stuff for a little bit. And we had a difficult time replacing him. Colin was a bad motherfucker behind that kit, and he was very, very difficult to replace. So we finally found our guy and debuted him at our show on March 5th. And then quarantine happened a week and a half later. So we've got another EP worth of stuff written that we're just kind of working on independently. We practice about once a week. I'm actually going to have them all over tonight. We're going to make some noise. But we're trying to stay as busy as possible without compromising everything. You know, I'm one of those people that doesn't think COVID's a joke. So I'm freaked out having people over. I'm still working. My boyfriend is still working, and we both live together. So we're out face-to-face people all the time. And we kind of neutered our rehearsal schedule for a bit because our new drummer's wife also just had a baby. But it's baby number 2. So it's not as like, it's not too exciting. So she's like, yeah, go do band stuff.
Right.
But yeah, we just hit quarantine right when all of that first happened. So we're still working with Tim. Tim's a bad motherfucker too. Like, he is the best replacement we could have asked for. And we just kind of working with him, kind of getting him up to speed on all the old stuff and working on new stuff. And we debuted a new song at the show with him. It's called Pulpit Fiction. It's all about organized religion. Good times. But we're staying busy. We've got a lot in the can. We're just kind of figuring out how to work it all week by week.
And like, not only is it quarantine, well, look at the BLM movement. Like, shit is raining down in ways that we've never even seen before. It's absolutely fucked. You have a president. I don't even want to get started into that too much because we could fill easily a whole show on it. Like, fuck. I'm from Canada, just so in case you don't know. So I'm just watching this going like, what?
Jealous.
What?
Seriously, send help.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult being in a socially and politically charged music, anything at this point, let alone being in a band that has been writing about this shit since I've been in it. And it's such a strange thing for me because I'm like, we told y'all, like, but this is not the time to promote your band, you know? It's not the time to be like, we have a song about riots. We have a song about how Donald Trump's a piece of shit. We have a song called Get the Gun about police brutality that every time I announce that song live, I'm like, if you're not pissed off about this, come talk to me. I'll send you a ton of articles. And nobody ever has anything to say. And it's all happening in real time now. And I'm thinking back at all of those blank faces. I'm just like, finally somebody gets it though. Finally it's out there in the open. We're living in a time where everybody has a camera in their fucking pocket. And this stuff isn't going to hopefully last forever. Granted, people are still acting the way they're fucking acting, even though the world is watching. And I actually almost wore my Fuck the Police shirt today, but I am not wearing a bra and I'm wearing the shirt I slept in. So, but it's in my heart. It's in my heart. But yeah, it's so strange to see all of this finally out in the open because it's bittersweet. You know, you want the world to know that this stuff is happening. You want somebody to hear all of these voices that have literally been stepped on for centuries. And at the same time, it's fucking heartbreaking.
Right, and it's like, it's unfortunate that it takes something like this, but this is what we need for change to happen. It's happening now. We need this kind of revolution to explode. We need that change to come. I mean, it's fucking 2020. When are we going to stop seeing color and sex and all that shit? You know, none of that matters at the end of the day. And the fact that we even have to say that is bullshit.
I mean, it's about seeing it and recognizing it and seeing that it doesn't make a fucking difference. And until everybody gets to that same consensus, we're still going to have the same nonsense. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band The Boll Weevils, but their singer Daryl went sort of viral about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, because he gave a speech. He's a doctor, and they had like a moment of silence outside with all of the doctors in their lab coats. And one of the things that he said in his speech was that he's like, you know, I can take off all of my doctor garb, and I go out on the streets and I'm just a dangerous threat of a black man. You guys all look at me because you respect me because we all work together. But when I'm not in my lab coat, I'm terrifying to these, you know, to the police officers and to uneducated people out there. And he's a wonderful person. And it kills me to see someone that I like know and care about have to explain this to people who are still standing there with their mouths open. Like, what? And he said in his speech, he said, there are hundreds or thousands of George Floyds out there that you will never hear about.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's heartbreaking. And like I said, it's bittersweet. I'm pumped that people are finally seeing the kind of animals that are in law enforcement. I'm pumped that it's finally out there. And it sucks that it took this kind of stuff to get there, but we do need to still see and recognize color to an extent, because you'll never understand a struggle unless you notice that. And it's, I could ramble. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's like they say, you know, they're not trying to turn everybody not see colors. That's not what this is about. What this is all about is really not treating somebody like me who's white versus somebody next to me who's black differently just because of skin. You know, it's fucked that it's even happening. It's bullshit.
So fucked. It's so fucked.
Yeah. So hopefully with this, you know, a lot more talks of the defunding of police and or even just abolishment. Really, it's going to be really interesting to see what the next couple weeks, months, even this year brings. But November, you guys, I'm going to be watching it like fucking my popcorn.
Today is actually election day here in New York right now. I went right before this because it's so important. There's so many times when I'm like, you know, fuck it, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't matter. But the last few years have been so. I guess it's always important. It's always been important, but I feel like now more than ever, we really have to do something.
I was in a different quarantine last time there was an election, so I didn't get to vote. And when we all that were quarantined together found out who won the presidency, I was living with several Black people who were just like, oh, fuck. Like, we're screwed. And the world looked at all of them like, no, you guys are fine. Don't worry about it. And, like, they knew. Yeah. They fucking knew. And November is coming really, really fast. And everybody needs to vote. Oh, my God, everybody needs to vote.
You can vote. You need to vote.
And there's so much more everybody can do, too. You can make donations. You can make phone calls. You can get out there and pound the pavement and talk other people into fucking voting. People will listen to their peers.
Yeah. Let's just fucking hope that you guys get out there and go vote, you know. And it doesn't really, you know, it's hard. You don't have to tell anybody who you're voting for and shit. Just do it. But if you want to see some change, you can take little steps to make that happen. And it fucking infuriates me to see that so many people, because here in Canada, same thing. I go vote every single fucking municipal, provincial, federal. I am out there every fucking time, pounding pavements, fucking voting, getting my shit to count. And to see people go, well, it doesn't fucking matter. No, it really, at the fundamental, you guys have a different system with this election.
You can't say it doesn't matter, because look at where we are now. Look at where we are right fucking now. It matters.
Yeah, right. We lighted up before we ended up.
I know, we all just are like speechless now, because it's like, you know, watching this shit unfold week after week, month after month now, it's, again, when's it going to end? Or also, how is this going to end, you know?
I think it's going to be a lengthy process. I think we're going to be in the thick of this for a while, because it's taken centuries to build up.
It just started.
Yeah.
And just because we started with the police doesn't mean we end there. There's education and healthcare and
mental health. But
right. It's a whole domino effect that needs an entire adjustment. Absolutely. Let's do it.
I'm excited to see where it ends up, honestly. I'm so excited to see where it ends up.
Well, I am a parent, so I'm hoping that we're making a better world for our kids, you know?
I'm already
observing. It's scary being a parent.
Do what needs to be done if they have a better future, you know?
I mean, I've got a friend she is half Black, and she is raising a Black son. And I've been watching her post things on her social media about how she's having to have these awful conversations with her 6-year-old kid who can't go out like all the white kids the way I was raised. Like, policemen are they're so good, they're going to save you whatever you need. She has to tell her 6-year-old, hey, the cop might be the wrong person for you to go talk to. He might see you as a threat wandering on the street. Like, the new generation is so pivotal, because they have to deal with all of this in such a why can't I say words today? They have to handle all of this in such a in your face kind of way. And their reaction to all of this is what's going to make or break the future of our society. And I know you're raising a good one, so good for you. I'm hoping it transcends, you know?
Oh yeah. And really, when you're trying to raise, you know, your kids, I don't have to tell my kids, make sure your hands are out constantly. Make sure that there's nothing in your hands. If you are going to reach for your wallet, make sure that you tell them, I'm going in my wallet slowly. I don't have a weapon on me. Like, those are conversations I don't have. I've had with my kids, because I need to explain to them the difference of what we're facing and what her friends are facing, because they're not the same thing. And how does she become an ally to her friends if somebody does treat her friends like shit, only because of the fact that, you know, my daughter has a friend who's Muslim, that, you know, I'm lucky that she hasn't said anything, but there are some kids who are snickering just because she wears a hijab or things are a little bit different for her. But how, you know, my job is to teach my kid to become an ally and be like, look, she's beautiful, she's perfect, there's nothing wrong with her, and there's something wrong with you. And I think that's what we need as people, to fucking just start, you know, standing up and saying there's something wrong with you if you think there's anything.
Fuck manners.
Yeah, fuck manners.
Manners are for pussies. There you go.
That's our new slogan. Manners are for pussies.
Love it.
I'll make a button. I'll wear it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Wait.
Why not?
So just to line up, it's really heavy conversation, but
I know, right? That's what we do, though, right?
yeah, just gets you right here. Any plans for your band coming up in the next little bit? I know we're kind of in quarantine land, so.
Yeah, you know, we've been talking about we're based in Chicago, so we're still pretty shut down over here. There have been a lot of offers for outdoor shows up in Wisconsin, so we're talking about maybe like making a weekend out of it and going and hitting some places further up north. But it's really just kind of we're buckling down and writing. There's so much going on right now that we've got lots to write about. And
Yeah, political punk band. You guys are like in your glory for such
right. Well, I mean, it's political, it's social responsibility, it's everything, all encompassing, you know. And we're trying to find other ways to Trojan horse that message to as many people as we can. So we've been talking about trying to figure out how to live stream, but I think every band's live stream sounds like ass, and I don't want to subject people to that. I don't know. We're trying to figure out things to do, but we've got, like I said, we got a whole third EP written and ready to go. We just got to hit the studio and make things happen. And so we always record with Dan from 88 Fingers Louie too. He's our guy. We've done everything with him. Yeah, he's phenomenal. He takes great care of us, and he has the cutest dog.
And that is important. Dogs
That is
are
always important.
I mean, 90% of my time there is spent petting Fiona. Like, I cut my vocals, and then the boys do all kinds of shit forever until I have to do backing vocals, and I just listen and play with the dog. That's it.
Yeah, if I'm at a party, I'm off somewhere playing with the dog. Or I have a herd of kids around me for some reason. Those are usually where you'll find me.
I feel like you're a lot like me in that respect, where you're like a kid magnet.
Yes.
Kids love me. I don't ever understand
And I
it.
mean to tell, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
That's where I'm at. I think kids are kind of like cats, where they can tell if you have some sort of allergy, and they're like, I want to hang out with you.
You should see Laura's little one with Bree. It's crazy. I love you, Bree.
Oh, he's obsessed with her. Mom, can you tell Bree to come over? I'm like, you do know she lives like 5.5 hours away, pal. It's gonna take a little while.
I love him. He's awesome. We have fun.
I think they see people like us as peers. I think that's what it is. Like, they look
I
at us
always
like,
talk to kids like they're people. Like, I don't do that cute little freaking baby voice.
Oh no.
right.
Ain't
It's a
nobody
good
got
thing.
All right, I think our time's about up, right?
Yeah. So where can we find your stuff, Kryssie?
We have a website. It's evilengineofficial.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. And, I mean, I'm all over social media. So if you can't find my band, you can find me, and I'll direct you wherever you need to go. We've got all of our merch up on our website, and both the first 2 albums are available on there as well. Yeah, we're all over the internet. So just look for me and I'll direct you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope to have you again. You have been fantastic and very.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a reason to put makeup on below here.
Yeah, right. It's
put a
nice
lip color on.
in a while.
So.
Yeah, wearing a mask has made me very bold with my appearance. Like, I really don't care about what I look like when I go out in public. Now, I really don't care. I'm just like, no, just put a mask on. No, it's me. It's fine.
I started growing out my big Italian chin hairs at the beginning of quarantine just to see how long they would get. And I'm back at work, but I'm wearing masks every day. So these mofos are still loud and proud. It's terrifying. My boyfriend's such a good sport.
I love
He's
it.
such a good sport.
I told him I'll pluck them when we don't have to wear masks at work anymore, and then we're keeping them in a jar. I'm gonna label it Quarantine 2020.
And that would like sum up pretty much the entire goddamn year, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And hairs in the
2020 has just been one unsightly chin hair after the other. That's the metaphor, really.
Oh man.
All
All right, ladies. Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah, for
Thanks for
sure.
having me.
Thank you so
Seriously,
much.
super pumped.
Thanks, Kryssie. That was great. I totally agree. Female frontage should not be in our vocabulary at this point in time. It tells us nothing about the band other than the fact the lead singer has tits, and fuck that shit.
Most men in bands have tits anyway, so really,
Right?
why are we not saying, hey, we got this male-fronted band with tits singing
Right.
for you? You just check it out.
With tits for you.
So yeah, what do we have up next, guys? What's on Sisterhood of the Traveling Punks this week?
This week is a fun one. We sat down with the Venonous Pinks, actually, and their tour manager, Angela. We had a lot of laughs. Talking about ghost tours, all that good stuff. Check it out.
I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's segment of Sisterhood of the Traveling Punks. I'm Laura, this is Terry and Bree, and we're joined with the Venonous Pinks this week. We have Drea, Gabby, and Cassie. Hey guys,
Hey.
how are you?
Hey.
What up?
And hopefully we have Angela, their tour manager, in a little bit.
Hopefully.
This is the biggest group that we've ever had so far. This is exciting.
This is a
Oh.
party.
So you girls are
All right.
keeping pretty busy right now, it looks like. You got a lot of stuff on the go, podcasts and music videos and new music out. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of bad timing though with the pandemic and everything. We were supposed to do like a lot of touring this year, especially we were gonna go to London and play Rebellion, and we had plans to go to Belgium and play Black Rock Fest and
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, we're gonna play Canada. We're gonna play like Mexico. Like this
East
year was like
Coast.
gonna be one of those years for us, and so that's kind of not happening. But we've been releasing new music since January, and music videos. So that's cool. So the next music video to come out will be actually next week on the 26th. And that day, the EP for our new EP will finally drop on all streaming platforms.
Awesome.
And then I think in July, we're going to start doing pre-orders to do a vinyl release.
Excellent.
And let me tell you guys, it's been a very, very long road to get here. We went through a lineup change, and then we went through a couple of label changes, and that was crazy. And finally, like we found a label that was a pretty good fit for us, and man, yeah, it's just been crazy for us.
It was like less than a year or about a year.
Yeah, and we got a new drummer in the midst of all of it too. Like Cassie, I think you've been in the band a little over a year now.
January was the year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So all of like 2019 was just like go, and then 2020 we were like going, and then boom, pandemic. So it's been crazy.
We can all relate to that, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how our
Yeah, we were supposed to be
that.
throwing our very first festival at the same time you guys were supposed to be at Rebellion. And we're at a total, obviously, halt. You know, we can't do anything. And it's a hard pill to swallow. I can't imagine being, you know, I mean, we just started this monster within a year. You know, I can't imagine, you know, being a band and working at that so hard for so long. And, you know, like you said, just having that year kind of swept right out from underneath you. That fucking sucks. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Where do you go from here? You don't know when you're going to be able to start up again? What do we do?
We are right here.
Right, doing a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Trying to
So
stay
we said, we're
busy
like,
as
geez,
we
we're
can.
just going to get in everyone's face this way.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Do you guys have like real jobs? Has that affected?
Yeah, dude. Punk rock does not pay the bills, man.
I literally clocked out and then
Yeah.
turned around. Not even turn around. I just switched the screen over to my personal computer.
You switch
and
chairs. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
racer chair now.
Yeah. turned around.
No, yeah, we all have jobs. Yeah.
Have you guys been affected with like the closings of your jobs or anything like that? Like, because I know like a lot of here restaurants and stuff, we like completely closed down, and a lot of people were out of work.
Yeah, I was furloughed for like 2 or 3 months. I mean, I work in the music industry, so a lot of stores were closed, and until recently, it's opening up again. But yeah, I went about 2 months without a job, so that was fun.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, that's some scary shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a essential job, so I've been fortunate enough to like be able to work from home since March, and yeah, that's getting pretty boring. like
Yeah.
you start missing like a routine, you know, like
Yeah.
getting
Oh my
up,
goodness.
going to that place. Like even though I fucking hated it someday, like fuck, I
Yeah.
want to go work, but it's like I think it's the social aspect of it is like going there,
Yeah.
seeing other people outside of who's in your house, like
Exactly.
Yeah, that water
Yeah,
cooler.
I live with 5 people and everyone's been home since this whole thing. So it's like everyone's home all day, every day. And it's just like, you know,
You need to see new faces.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And you're in LA, right? So like
Yeah.
they didn't
Everything.
they mandate masks now? Like you have to wear a mask in public?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't, like, we couldn't go to the beach until like a couple weeks ago, but like when you go, you have to just be moving. You can't be idle. You can't be like chilling on the sand or anything. So it's just like, yeah, it sucks.
They just reopened our beach last week, so it was like that up until then. So
Yeah.
we live right off Lake Huron, so it's a big, looks like the ocean, kind of like where you are, minus the palm trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, you know, kind of, it's hard to kind of say what you guys are going to say because you still, the unknown is still completely
Yeah.
there. You have no idea, really. Like you could kind of see if you can book stuff for next year, but really,
Yeah.
can you? Like, especially LA,
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
We actually got a show offer last night to play in Anaheim in like the end of July, and I live with a high risk person. My brother needs a liver transplant, and I was like, you know, dude, it's like too fucking soon. Like I don't want to rush back into it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are like venues out there that they're trying to like pull in bands and like do
LA's
shows.
been having shows like you said, the Doll Hut and stuff in Anaheim. I think they just started like last weekend or this week, and they're already booking shows like on the weekends and stuff. So like indoors.
Too soon, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a little scary because it's like, okay, if we do this now, where's that going to put us in a month or two from
Yeah.
now? Are we? Is that going to set us back? And how
Right.
far back is that going to set us? You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to go any further back.
Oh.
Next year.
Yeah, because it seems like we were progressing a little bit, and then people were it just got rushed, and now I don't know if you guys have seen the news. Like Arizona, we're like a hot spot right now. Like
We're number one. Yay.
we're number one, guys. Not in a good way. Like we're seeing like a lot of positive cases. So that's scary. That's really scary.
Yeah, for sure. I live in New York, and it's just every day, just
Man.
up
Yeah,
and
and
up.
yeah, and New York was like one of the first hot spots too, dude. Like it was
It's
crazy.
just been constant. It's not really like the numbers fluctuate, but it's not really anything different than it. We can't say it's good. It's not. And I'm upstate. Well, actually, I'm central New York, so we're in like phase 3 right now, and places are starting to open back up. I'm lucky. We've been open. I own a sandwich shop. We've been open the whole time. For like takeout and stuff out of our pickup window, but it's a little scary driving around and just seeing, you know, bars flocked again with just hundreds of people out on the street. I'm like, Jesus, is this really okay? Like,
I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. And I'm in like rural Canada of all places, right? Like there's nothing here where I'm at.
yeah, I'm leaving my dining room totally locked off to the public. Like, you can come to our window, wear a fucking mask, and if not, then please don't come here. Like, there, I don't know. I'm not risking. I think it's way too soon. I would like things to get back to normal or whatever we want to call them now, but I think we really have to take this seriously, whether anyone wants to or not. Who wants to? But
Right.
Now,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think masks are just gonna be like the new normal. Like
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to. That's something we'll have to deal with for who knows how long.
Does this work?
Yeah.
Oh,
There
she is.
Hey!
Hey, I didn't want to like interrupt because you guys were talking and I was feeling what you were saying. I was like, I don't want to be.
No, but you would
Popping in.
definitely know, definitely, like you're, their tour manager, so you definitely.
Yeah, you
see
can't
that
get the
back
right
end.
Yay, yay, yay!
Contracts and stuff.
So as far as tour managing, that's more or less more so Ashley and Kelsey. Although I like to say that I'm their designated nerd that they take on tour to have fun with. I'm good for dad jokes and other things like that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I it's kind of like a floater type situation every time I go on tours. So we're all pitching in and we all kind of do our own thing. But the best way to support is just to be there. So, but yeah, I do a lot of their merch, take photographs, like just help support the tour managers and whatever they need, and of course driving. So that's always scary for them.
Now
I'm
you're
good at
also,
great. That's about it.
now you guys, how do you kind of coordinate band practices and stuff like that? Like when, obviously you're in LA, you two are in Arizona, so how's that come together? And you guys,
So we're fortunate enough to find a drummer who is pro. I don't know if you guys know, Cassie was the drummer in Union 13 for 10 or 11 years.
10 years, yeah.
So she's fucking professional. So me and Gabby were just like sending her every song. We're like, dude, learn these. She would, and then how it would work is she'll come to Phoenix. We'll practice, and then Gabby and I will go out to LA too, and we'll practice that way.
Yeah.
We actually have not seen Cassie since March.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Well,
it's sad.
And like, how is
guys
that
do,
too?
you
From
guys?
constantly being on tour with each other to not being able to see each other for months. Like, that's
it's crazy.
Miss you.
I know.
Kind of like missing an arm, like you're just so used to seeing that
Yeah.
person there, the arm's gone, and
Yeah.
you could still feel it, but it's not there anymore.
I mean, we would see each other like multiple times a month.
Yeah.
know,
Every
which-
every other week or every couple.
Yeah.
Weeks. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, maybe next year we'll see.
No.
oh jeez.
I think it's been since December that I saw 3 of you guys. That's how long it's been.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. even like with our podcast, like recordings and stuff, it's been a while, so it's crazy.
Now, can you guys talk about your podcast now that you've brought it up? Because you guys have a really cool, I'm totally into what you guys are talking, because I think it's so cool. So if you girls want to talk about it.
Well, I guess I'll start. I don't know.
Oh man, here we go.
Here we go. Well, it's pretty great because the three of us have all been friends for years, and Gabby and I worked together on Punk Forefront, and it was this local, I mean, not Punk Forefront, excuse me, AZ Chaos. And so Gabby was one of the first people that published like my photography and my journalism pieces. And so we're always looking and scheming of different ways that we can, collaborate together. And I know Drea was a part of that too. And so we've all just kind of ran in similar circles, had similar friends, and just kind of like supporting each other just in the AZ punk scene. And it just came one day, like Gabby's like, why aren't we doing a fucking podcast? Like, we have so much stories about on the road and just being females in the industry. The podcast space that has a female-based punk rock podcast voice, there's like few and far between. And so, this angle, it was like, well, why don't we just like kind of interview guests, but also talk from the space of them being musicians, them being in the music industry, and me being a photojournalist. I do a lot of their HR stuff. I help a lot with the business and things like that. And so it's just about like moving forward with that and just kind of being another resource and another voice within, the podcast world. And so that's kind of how it started, and it just kind of has grown from there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we literally, they were like, they had me over for a meeting, and they were like, so we need a host. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, you're going to do it. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I can try.
Yeah.
But you didn't say no, so.
She didn't say no.
I was going to say no. Yeah, I want in on this. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Like a little table
as well.
But I think a lot of it too is an excuse just to talk to people that we're interested in, and we like love, and we want to support and inspire us, and vice versa. But it's all about trying to have that extra added voice and support within the scene. So I think the more the merrier, right? Let's just like dominate all the podcasts, right, guys? Let's do this shit. That's growing.
Well, we always talked about this for us to be just a conversation, just talking about the things that interest us and in turn interest you guys. So I think it's really cool that you girls are all able to step up today and, chat with us, because that's awesome. Now, your podcast also touches on a certain aspect of life, or maybe I should say death.
Yeah, let's talk about Grave Sisters.
Yes.
We love ghosts.
I don't even know how it happened. I just think between the three of us, we all like to learn a lot. So I know Gabby will like fall into like, we call them rabbit holes, and just like go down these rabbit holes of like ghosts, lizard people, like anything and everything. And so that's how her and I started to really talk about it. And then Angela's, she's kind of gothic too, so like she has that goth edge to her. And then so it just kind of happened on the podcast where we just started asking every guest, like, tell me a story. Do you believe in ghosts? Like, do you have any experiences with it? Do you think it's bullshit? Because I'll be honest, like, I am the skeptical out of the four of us on Grave Sisters. There's another friend, her name's Miss Kitty, who's a tattoo artist. She was a guest on Sound Sisters. She's very intelligent when it comes to paranormal and aliens, and she's gone so far to like camp outside of Area 51. Like, she is committed. Like, yeah, she's awesome. But so out of me, like, I am the skeptical of it. So I don't know. That's just something we just always like asked every guest, and some of them have stories. Other of them are like, no, I don't really believe in it. But it's just this common thing where you can literally talk to anybody about it, and they either believe or they don't. And sometimes you'll get a really good story, and other times you're like, dude, that's bullshit. Like, that what? No.
Well, I don't know. And I think also because of the diverse amount of type of people that we try and talk to. So it's artists, not just musicians, and just that's the one common thread, like Drea said. But I think another thing is when we would go on tour together, we somehow would end up having these conversations on the road. Like we would talk about like, oh my gosh, this conspiracy theory, or oh, did you see, this like ghost video, or oh, that's total dust particle, or this or whatever. And then one of the first times I went on tour with them, and this is after being friends with these ladies for years, because in the easy punk scene, like it's a good, big, strong scene, and that's home, but it's still somewhat small in the sense that like everyone knows everyone, and we always like banded together and supported one another. But when going on tour with them, that's like when you really develop your friendship. And Gabby and I, like the first time, everyone's sleeping, and we're like after the show, because work is work. When they're playing and afterwards, including the crew, we're not like partying. We're still having a great time. I mean, this is our life that we love and we live for, but we're not getting crazy wasted. But afterwards, we're going to have some fun once everyone's in the hotel room safely, and everything's good as far as for me anyway. I just kind of hold back. So we were up, Gabby and I, just drinking, having a great time when we should be sleeping. Everyone was sleeping. Like Drea was sleeping in the next bed over, and with Ashley, one of the tour managers, and we're looking up reptilian videos like until literally 4 a.m, and we had to get up at 6, like really freaking each other out. So kind of like our thing that Gabby and I do when we're on tour. Like we stay up because we're afraid of the ghost or other weird things that might be happening. And Drea yells at us the next day because we're tired.
That's the other cool thing about touring is like sometimes you'll stay with friends or whatever, and or people you just kind of know from networking. You know them, but you don't know them, but you know them that you feel safe enough to stay in their house. And we had an experience like that in Las Vegas back in October. We stayed with a friend that I've known through the Turbo Union for years, but I don't really know him. So we stayed at his house or whatever, and he's like walking us through this really big house, and I'm like looking around, and I'm noticing he has like built-in ramps in his house. So he finally like, we're chilling or whatever, and I'm like, dude, what's up with the ramps? And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, this used to be a hospice. I'm like, fuck, okay.
The bathroom had no doors. So
Yeah. The doors were like built wide enough so like a wheelchair could be rolled in there or whatever. But yeah, I had these ramps or whatever. So like, I mean, it's a hospice, so yeah, people have died there. And so we were like, so is this haunted or what? And he tried to say no, right? Like he tried to say no. And
remember the room Kelsey had? We made her stay in the bedroom because there's a Chucky doll above the bed.
What?
Yeah, and then like in the like later, like after the show, like we asked him about it. We're like, is your house haunted? Like, what's up with that doll? He's like, well, don't say anything, but sometimes it moves its head. And we're like, what? Like, I don't know. I think he was just messing with us, but
it was like this zombie, like little zombie doll he had in one of his bedrooms. But here's the thing about the bedroom. It was decorated in like religious artwork. So like
but it was so dark in the house. It was like pitch, like the walls were like crimson red and black, so it was just like super dark inside. Super
dark gothic. So like literally at the end of the night we were like, Kelsey, who was like driving the van for us and tour managing, we're like, Kelsey, do you want to like come sleep in this room with us? And she was like, yes. Then it was like all 4 of us, like I couldn't sleep that night. I was like kind of freaked out.
Couldn't sleep at all.
Like, yeah.
They put me right next to the bathroom with like no door. And I was just like looking to see if there was like footsteps. And like I didn't sleep that whole night. I think we were going to
we were going to Salt Lake.
Lake, so I slept the whole way. Like
this. Well, I think just knowing that it was like a hospice, house and like knowing that people died there, like we just could not sleep that night. We're like, no, this place has to be haunted.
I
Have you
actually
guys
grew
found
up
any,
in an
like-
extremely
yeah, go
haunted house, so I got some stories for you sometime.
Oh,
Oh shit. Yes.
Dude,
Shit.
you gotta come on. You gotta
Shit.
be. You gotta flip this around. You gotta.
Yeah,
come
you guys
on
will
and-
have to come on Sound Sisters and we can talk about ghosts and everything.
We love ghosts. So have you guys ever like stayed anywhere that's really creeped you right out? Like other than that?
Cassie
Yeah,
has.
I think so.
Cassie has.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Being on tour in Europe, like everywhere is haunted, everywhere, and they'll tell you that because everything is just so old. Like you could feel it, like you could feel the energy, you know, when you go into places. Yeah, we didn't have we don't have too much touring together, so you know we haven't really encountered anything yet as a band like together. But yeah, that probably was one of our.
Dude, tell them about the sink.
Oh
Nope.
well,
I don't know. Let you know, we only have a few more minutes, so I want to hear the story. So you're gonna have to make it a little quick.
Oh no, I was on tour with one of my other bands, Turbo Negra, and it was early in the morning and we all heard the sound of running water. We're like, what is that? Everyone's in bed, and we went to the bathroom and the faucet was on full blast, like just full. And we're all like, well, like no one had used the bathroom or anything. And like we asked the front desk, it's in Nevada City, California. So it's like a super, Ghost Adventures have been there too. So it's like super haunted. People have died there. And the front desk was like, yeah, this place is really haunted. So I was like,
Great, that's crazy.
yeah, it was weird.
Well, ladies, where can we hear your podcast and find your new music? Because you guys are still coming out with new stuff all the time.
So podcast, look us up as Sound Sisters on all streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, literally any platform you use to listen to your podcast. Under that, you'll find the Grave Sister podcast, where we go talk about ghosts, aliens. We've done tarot readings, aura photos. Find the Venomous Pinks.
With the punk rock edge.
With the punk rock edge, yeah. Find the Venomous Pinks, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. And we have new music out on Die Laughing Records. You can go to their website. There should be a pre-order up in July for vinyl. And then find us on Instagram at the Venomous Pinks, Facebook as the Venomous Pinks, and basically anywhere. Just type in Venomous Pinks and that's us.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That was super fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
So growing up in a haunted house was kind of crazy. My family did not talk about it until years and years after we moved out. But one story that sticks out to me is one day I heard little kids playing with a rubber ball in my living room, and there was no way the sound could have come from that room. And I never told anyone about it. And then we had a picnic with family a little bit later, and my uncle came up to me and was like, I used to work in this house. He was like, have you ever heard the kids playing ball? And I was just like, what? So just little things like that, like never felt threatened or anything, but even as an adult, I did not like being in that house.
Well, hopefully we can go on their show eventually in the future and hear about more crazy stories. Girls, thank you so much again for coming on. Next week, we have Ephraim from Voodoo Glow Skulls and...
So excited.
Oh,
From the Homicides.
yeah, Death by Stereo and Daisy from, the Homicide. So we have a full packed show for you guys. And if you guys are on our stuff, make sure you sign up for subscribe to our channel. We're on Camp Punksylvania. We're on Punksylvania. Check out our YouTube. Leave comments. Write to us. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, tell us what questions you want us to ask these guests.
Yes, sometimes we get kind of stuck. So definitely get in there and let us know what you're thinking. And thanks again for watching.
Love you guys.
Thank you.